What is up, Earthnoids, Spacenoids, and everything in between? I am just a simple new type, and in this video, we are back in space, heading towards Solomon. Our last video focused on the Battle of Jaburo and Zeon's failed attempt to penetrate EFF's headquarters. In this video, White Base becomes a part of the TMN fleet, so let's get into this. White Base is assigned to leave Jaburo 2 hours before the rest of the TMN fleet. We find out that Mirai is actually engaged to someone, a man named Cameron. Back at White Base, Slugger Law is assigned to the ship. The crew prepares to take off for space. Meanwhile, Char hops onto the Zanzibar, heading in the direction of White Base. On board the Zanzibar is the MA-05 Bigro mobile armor. The Bigro has a mega particle cannon, quadruple missile launcher, and claw arms. Also on board are 2 Rick Doms. The difference between the Rick Dom and the Dom is that the Dom is designed for ground combat and the Rick Dom is designed for space combat. White Base changes its trajectory towards the moon, but Char is smart enough to recognize that White Base is most likely leading a diversion for the bigger fleet, which is exactly what is happening. He decides to launch the Bigro and Doms. They're going to preemptively attack White Base. Amado launches in the G-Sky and Sayla in the G-Bull easy. They engage with Zeon. The Bigro swiftly flies by and grabs the G-Bull with its claw arms. She is afraid to attack because she might be killing her brother in the process. The Bigro throws the G-Bull. Bright asks Lieutenant Slugger to man the main cannon, but he wants Bright to turn around. They both butt heads a little bit. Kai is finally able to launch in the gun cannon. Now that Kai can cover everyone, Amado uses this opportunity to dock with the G-Bull. Amado transforms into the Gundam, and Sayla assumes control of the G-Sky. The Zanzibar gets in close. Char plans to collide with White Base. Slugger is able to get a hit on the Zanzibar with the cannon. Sayla takes out one of the Doms. Meanwhile, the Bigro hooks the Gundam and accelerates at fast speed. Amado passes out for a second from all those Gs, but suddenly wakes up. The Gundam fires its beam rifle into the Bigro. The pilot doesn't understand how the Gundam pilot didn't pass out, but unfortunately, he thinks this right before exploding to death. One of the Doms retreats. The team returns to White Base. Slugger starts hitting on Sayla and Mirai. The boys take a quick rest, but the enemy will return soon. A lone mobile armor is making its way towards White Base. Hayato in the gun tank and Amado in the G-Sky go out and intercept the mobile armor. Meanwhile, back at the Zanzibar, Char is mad that one of the crewmates went out in the experimental Zachar, but the crew wanted revenge for Tokwon, the Bigro pilot. The MA-04X Zachar is a very ugly, early experimental mobile armor. Amado quickly takes out the Zachar to a point where Amado doesn't understand how incompetent it could be. Char, now captain, contacts the Camel fleet to try to cut off White Base's path, while the Zanzibar holds the rear. White Base has no option but to take them on. Kai and Hayato launch in the gun tank and gun cannon. Slugger launches in the G-Fighter, and Sayla in the G-Bull. The Musais from Camel fleet launches Rick Doms. While all this is happening, the TMN fleet finally launch from Jaburo and make their way towards Luna 2. Kai takes out a Rick Dom. The Doms separate the White Base fleet. White Base is trying to break through and get a concentrated hit on the Musais in the front. The Gundam is finally ready to launch. Also, just as Zeon refers to White Base as the Trojan Horse, Earth forces refer to the Dom and Rick Dom as the skirted mobile suit, as they don't have data on the unit. They take out one of the Musais. Drin, captain of the Musai, can't get eyes on the mobile suit. The Musai, the Swalmail, goes down. There's one Musai left. Suddenly, the Gundam comes in and destroys the Musai. All Musais are now destroyed. The Zanzibar couldn't make it to help before the fleet goes down. White Base decides to head to Side 6. Solomon is the headquarters of the front line for the Principality of Zeon. It exists within the remains of Side 1. Dozel Zabi is mad at both Char and Kaecilia's incompetence, so he decides to take matter into his own hands. He commands the Space Attack Force to intercept the TMN fleet. Sayla and Amado are running tests in the G-Armor. While testing, they spot a Browboro. The MAN-03 Browboro is the first mobile armor in the UC timeline to be equipped with a Psychomu, or psychic communicator. To explain this, let's go back to June of UC0079. The new type phenomenon seems to be a real thing, and the Principality of Zeon takes this very seriously. They create the Flanagan Institute to study new types, during which they realize that new types give off a thought or psychic wave that is similar to brain waves. These waves can be translated into machine code And with that, a psychic interface can be made where the user simply uses psychic waves to pilot mobile armors and suits. This is essentially the Psychomu, a way for new types to interface with technology at the speed of thought. Not only does Bro have the Psychomu, but it is also modular. The Bro attacks the Gundam. The Gundam destroys part of the Bro, but a module makes its escape. We will return to the Psychomu in later videos. Amado and Sayla go back to White Base and dock with Side 6. Once in Side 6, like Side 7, White Base cannot use any of its weapons or engage in battle. Remember that Side 6 is a neutral colony. Filthy neutrals. Amado goes out with the crew to gather supplies on Side 6 when Amado suddenly runs into his father, Tim Ray. He chases him down and they go to hang out in his junkyard of a home. Tim Ray gives Amado a module to use on the Gundam, but it is a piece of junk. Now going back to Side 7, when a hole was created in Side 7 during its attack, Tim Ray was flung out into space with many others. He was in a space suit that wasn't designed for long-term deep space use and potentially suffered from brain damage due to oxygen deprivation. Amado runs back to White Base after realizing his dad cares little about him or his mother. Back at White Base, Mirai meets with Cameron, her fiance, for the first time since the attack on Side 7. He assists White Base with repairs. By repairing the ship slightly outside of Side 6, they are able to allow private companies to assist with repairs. Unfortunately, this leaves them quite vulnerable to attack, which is the case as 12 DOMs descend onto White Base. The Gundam launches and takes them all out in less than 3 minutes. Now that we are back in space, Amado's new type abilities seems to be finely tuned. The Zanzibar comes to meet the Chauvet ship and White Base makes its escape. Back at the ship, Mirai tells her fiance he a punk-ass bitch and he needs to grow some hatos. Amado goes to visit his slow dad. On his way back, he runs into Lala for the first time. He is taken aback by her beauty and wisdom. Heading back to White Base, his car gets stuck in the mud. He is rescued by Char and Lala. Amado somehow knew it was Char, even though he never met him before. Also, it rains in colonies, which seems like a huge inconvenience. Back at White Base, Lieutenant Slegger slaps Mirai for not accepting Cameron's assistance to escort White Base. White Base is being escorted by a neutral ship, Zeon most likely won't attack them. This is a weird scene where everyone justifies Slegger's slap, which is kind of funny, but ultimately, Bright accepts Cameron's offer to be an escort. So many problems solved with slapping. Cameron escorts White Base, and Mirai flips off Cameron. Seriously, go watch this scene. I don't know if there's a formal answer to this by sunrise. The Gundam launches. Rickdoms commence attack. Amado is able to predict many of the Rickdom's moves. His perceptions is getting really sharp. White Base takes out a Musai. A TV vessel is broadcasting the battle. Lala and Char watch. Lala can feel that the Gundam will win the battle. Amado goes and takes out a Chauvet-class ship. Lala was correct. Her new type powers are quite perceptive. Amado and White Base leave Side 6 territory. Bright meets Commander Wakane. Last time we saw him, he was the commandant of Luna 2. They plan for a major attack on Solomon. Dozel Zabi is mad that Garen gave him one experimental unit instead of a plethora of Rickdoms. Back at Side 6, Char threatens Cameron and all of Side 6 of their existence while Lala looks majestic. The battle between Earth and Zeon begins. Amado pilots the Gundam, Kai the gun cannon, Hayato the gun tank, and Slegger and Sayla in the G-fighters. Apparently, they received extra G modules since Jaburo. The team and fleet launches GMs and balls. Dozel Zabi sends the women and children out as a safety precaution. He meets with his wife Xena and his daughter Minerva. So last time we saw Xena was in our Dawn Rebellion video when she held Dozel Zabi at gunpoint. True love. Also, Minerva will play a huge role in UC0093 and keep the Zabi lineage moving forward. But for now, she a baby. Within the debris of Side 1, the new solar ray weapon is being set up. The FF fires the solar ray on Solomon and destroys many Zeon units. The gun tank is badly injured. Hayato heads back and is taken to the infirmary, aka anywhere, as many of the White Base crew is badly injured. Fraubo goes to comfort Hayato. Meanwhile, the Gundam is penetrating the Solomon's first line of defense. At the Zanzibar, Kaisilia orders Char to give support at Solomon. Lala will soon see battle. It is time for Vice Admiral Dozel to contribute to the battle. He goes to find the experimental mobile armor, the Big Zam. The MA-08 Big Zam has 4 fusion reactors and can output 35,000 kilowatts. Compare this to the 19,000 kilowatts output of the Gundam's beam rifle. Big Zam also stands at 59% 9.6 meters tall. Compare this again to the Gundam standing at 18 meters tall. The Big Zam is a beast and the biggest force outside of nukes deployed during this battle. It has the ability to take out Salamis and Magellan-class ships with ease. The battle wages on. Slegger's G-Fighter is hit. He returns to base for repairs. When Slegger returns, Mirai's attitude changes. Bright understands that she has feelings for Slegger. Bright, knowing this, says he will always be there for her and relieves Mirai to give her the opportunity to talk to Slegger. Slegger gets down on a burger. Mirai goes to visit him. They comfort each other. Slegger gives Mirai his mother's ring to hold on to in case something happens to him. The ship takes a hit. Mirai bumps into Slegger. They kiss. Slegger returns to battle. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, pew pew pew, pow pow pow. Suddenly, Big Zam comes out of the shadows and does an even bigger pow pow pew pew, killing many gems and balls. Dozel Zabi chooses to remain on the battlefield while Zeon flees from Solomon. Amado spots the Big Zam right as it leaves Solomon and approaches EFF's fleet. At White Base, Mirai returns to manning the helm. Dozel commands the remaining Solomon fleet to make their escape. However, the TMN fleet unleashes the solar flare again on the Solomon fleet. The Big Zam goes out and destroys the Titan and Vice Admiral Tiamin in the process. The Gundam and G armor dock together. Slegger will go fast while Amado uses his beam rifle at close range. They rush in. However, Slegger's G armor is destroyed and Slegger is killed in action. The Gundam is able to make its escape. He uses his beam saber to get close and destroy the Big Zam. Dozel gets on top of the exploding Big Zam and uses a machine gun on the Gundam. Amado sees the Angel of Death looming over Dozel. The Big Zam explodes, taking out Dozel Zabi in the process. Another Zabi is down. If we look at our Zabi death board, we now have half the Zabis down. However, a new generation of Zabis bloom. Some Zeon make their escape, but Earth was able to win the day at Solomon. Back at White Base, Amado tells Mirai that Slegger is dead. The crew grieves, but no one more than Mirai. And that will do it for this episode. We're starting to see the emergence of new type potential in Amado. We saw another Zabi death, and we're starting to see the downfall of Zeon happen right in front of our eyes. In our next video, the crew will learn more about exactly what a new type is, as we see Lala use her Psychomu system and immobile armor. The crew also learns that Salamas is Artesia Daikun. But until next time, new types, try to have as much dignity as Dozel Zabi and go out with honor. Peace.